The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Neodyiplomacy is the new currency. Neodyiplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Hey, monkey boy, this time I can prove the Israelites weren't black using ChatGPT. Ha!
So that's what we're doing now? Using AI?
What was that? I couldn't hear you over that smoke alarm chirp you people can't hear. Say that again?
Hilarious and original.
Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original.
I said, is that what we're doing now? Using AI to prove who the Israelites are?
That's exactly what we're doing, and I'll show you, boy.
Oh, brother.
2 hours later.
Your room still stinks.
Look at how easily ChatGPT debunks everything you chimps have to say. Ha! You was not kings, and you was not Israelites.
If we're going to use AI, then let's at least use an AI that's trained on the Bible without the Masoretic mistranslations or any agendas and actually tells us the truth.
Liar, there's no such thing.
I'll show you. Let's use Israelite Bot. Go to IsraeliteBot.com and ask the same thing.
Fine, but I bet it'll say the same thing as ChatGPT. No! No!
You see? I told you.
No!
And it shows biblical proof.
No! This is preposterous. I hate this website. It's all wrong.
Stop crying.
Your website sucks.
Okay, here I am. Shalom, everybody. Shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom. Greetings to all of my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you all this morning. Slowly but surely, I am getting my voice back. Not in all the ranges. That's still coming. But boy, oh boy, when you have gone through losing your voice and then you realize what it takes to strengthen your voice, and you realize how something like pollen and your allergies can actually just mess with your voice. That's crazy to understand that at that time, at that moment, how the enemy had attacked me. But here's the situation. Whenever you're doing something for the Most High, He will always allow the enemy to attack you. That goes without saying. Whenever you're getting ready to do an endeavor for the Most High, you have to go through trials. You have to go through fire. You have to go through the refining process. No matter how long you've done it, no matter what you're currently doing right now, the moment that you go to another level, quote unquote, you're going to go through the trials and the oppositions because that's the design. The design of the Most High is contrary to Eurocentric Christianity. It really is. Understand that when they came to places with the sword, they lived by the sword, they died by the sword. Understand what they came with. Hey, you accept or you die. This is why they do not like to talk about history, i.e., literally a whitewashing and a revision of history books that's being done every single day. And if you don't believe me, you can come and visit my students. You're not going to be allowed to, but I'm just saying. Ask anybody in the Florida education system right now the literal miseducation that's going on. I asked my students the other day, it was yesterday, matter of fact, because we were talking about apartheid. I said apartheid is the equivalent of Jim Crow laws. Has anybody ever heard of Jim Crow laws? These are eighth grade students. Nobody could even answer the question. And so I had to say that Jim Crow was similar to apartheid with different racial standards. And I always give a caveat of, well, I hope I'm actually even allowed to even say that much. Because the reality is, I really don't know what I'm allowed to say and not say. I'll figure it on out. I'll get a reprimand. Someone will say something. But as far as I can tell, I do a pretty excellent job with the students. Gentile and Hebrew students alike. And the reality is that for their generation, they're a generation that literally you can tell they do not have any type of future foresight. And here's the thing. I'm not going to blame them. Can you blame them? The reality is I'm not going to. Because think about if you had to grow up in this generation. Let's try to put ourselves in their shoes. Let's try to empathize and actually sympathize for their generation. Think about everything within literally the past 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks that America has literally been on a downhill trajectory worldwide. I want to, excuse me. I want to show this bit of a commentary that's coming from Instagram. I don't even know if we'll see. I think we're fine as long as it doesn't have music, but who knows? Give me a second.
Largest OEM sports shoe manufacturer. Who are the suppliers behind Dior? Their knitwears and cardigans are from Beyond Garments from Hangzhou. Beyond Garments is also a supplier behind many luxury brands from America and Europe, like Sandra, Maj, and Versace. Who are the suppliers behind Lululemon? Some of their yoga wears are actually from Xianglong Clothing and Huang Qisheng Clothing. And guess what? These two factories also supply clothing for Fila and Under Armour.
For electronics components, visit OFFCN.com. For car accessories, check cheapayren.com. For industry material, gobangbang.com. For clothing, check.
All right. I don't want to play too much because I know that I will definitely have a copyright strike for the music. Shout out to J0 for the emails. Let me tell you, what China just did was China pulled the okie doke. Hello, testing. Oh my goodness. Okay, it looks like my browser is crashing. Bear with me. Let me get rid of that browser. StreamYard has been really picky these last couple of days. And you really have to understand why. We're going through a time like I had stated. I stated this maybe 3-4 months ago. Yakoba definitely had stated this. Sister Shonda, many others. Everyone that is in this quote unquote truth ministry, quote unquote awakening, Israelite, Hebrew, I don't care what you call it. You're going to get the backlash of the persecution because it's coming. See, they were able to tolerate us because they had to draft up the laws on the books to reinstitute dumb diverses. Dumb diverses is still a policy of almost, well over now almost 600 years. That's still on the books today. Nothing has changed. And this is their last opportunity to kind of do whatever they can with us. Understand, they do not want us to be back over in the continent. They don't want us to be over in the place where they had taken us. Understand, they always say, we're a conquered people. You are just mad because you lost. That's the narrative. Because what they don't want to do, they don't want to read the Bible. Have you noticed that? Everyone that is in their Christianity movement, identity movement, one thing that I always notice, and we've always noticed, is the lack of biblical understanding. And not just biblical understanding, but how they deduce, how they rationalize, and their rationality of biblical understanding. They can never touch anything in the Old Testament. Because once they have to read the Old Testament, then they have to understand the prophecy that they fall under. We always had a dual prophecy, something for us and something for them. Our blindness was to allow us to go into captivity because that was our judgment. Now our blindness coming off is now their blindness coming on, and now they are realizing that they are in that downhill trajectory. And there was a YouTube video. In the video, it was an African YouTuber. She was explaining. She was explaining and giving commentary of videos of the Chinese responding to JD Vance and the peasants and the peasant comments. You know, the reality of all this going on, I'm going to tell you this. It's not going to shock black people. It's not going to shock Hebrews. We've already understood the game. We've already known the game. Matter of fact, we had to play the game, and that game was a 400-year treadmill that a lot of our people literally decided this month to get off the treadmill. I don't know if you all realize this. April 5th was literally the day that our people decided to get off the treadmill. But what the narrative was, stay home, this isn't your fight. Because why? Because understand, they have these little small focus groups that are trying to gauge the sentiment of African Americans. That's what this is called. This is what it is. Are you going to protest? How do you feel? They give surveys. Don't think that this stuff is just all of a sudden. No, they give surveys. And when they give their surveys, they try to then come up with some sort of hypothesis or some sort of analysis. Okay, well, it looks as though that, in our quantitative analysis, it looks as though that we're looking at a lack of participation amongst African Americans. What do you think they pay all these statisticians for? These statisticians, they run the numbers. They look at all the data from comments that is sold by, you guessed it, Google, YouTube, Alphabet. They'll say that it's for research content and research purposes only. And in reality, it is. But that research is for the decisions of, okay, are we actually influencing them? And here's the reality. We're not being influenced by them anymore. And it's truly a spectacle that when we aren't just a deer in the headlights and we are looking with a sense of understanding and purpose of what is being done and how things are being done, and we can clearly articulate, no, we're staying out of this because everything that we have done has not benefited us. Well, it's people of color. Everything that we have done has not benefited us. Well, what about people of color? Wait a second. Let me explain to you. Everything that we, as Black folks, as African Americans, as those that are descended from the transatlantic slave trade, where our ancestors were kidnapped and human trafficked across the Atlantic Ocean over to the Americas and ended up here in the United States, have not benefited from anything that we have gone on out to protest. And then when they have realized that that had been picked up by the quote unquote Black folks, exactly. That to me, I think that was when Black folks said we're done. Black folks said we're done. You got white women as people of color. Oh. No, we don't say people of color. Y'all try to do that crazy maniacal framework. Get out of here with that straw man. That was a camel. That was the straw that broke the camel's back for real. You telling me Karen is classified as DEI as a people of color? What? That's when we took our basketball, that's when we took our football, and we said, we're going home. We took our ball and we left. Man, we out of here. I'm gonna just dribble this ball down the sidewalk all by myself. I'm just gonna toss this ball on up and catch it all by myself on the way home. I'm done with this. But fight for our rights. Fight for our rights. Oh, when they started to say the transracial thing, I knew that was over. Understand, that was the slow death of their empire, of the vanity that was there. Are you going to be in our vanity? And let me just show you the Chinese okey doke, or more maybe more appropriately, the Chinese finger trap. Or the Shaolin chopstick pop. Oh my goodness. Because I don't know if y'all caught the Mortal Kombat Liu Kang dragon that came on out and hit him with that fireball fatality. Oh, Johnny Cage done got the business. Liu Kang gave Johnny Cage the business on that finishing move. Luxury brand, AB, AB. Uppercut, kick, up, down. They gave them the Louis Vuitton voltage. That may have been a Raiden move. They gave them the electric car battery, battery fire flame. All them Teslas are up in smoke. Finish him. Oh, is that very appropriate? Yeah, because everybody was trying to be a starlet. Everybody was trying to be their little IG model, their fame, the claim, and they literally took off that top hat, threw that thing, and I'm telling you, they sliced some people in half for all my Mortal Kombat back in the day. They gave them the wood slicer to their dreams. You want to know how much your product costs? $10. Same factory, same design. We have it here on discount. We put it on over there. Same thing. Oh my goodness. Do you know what that did? Do you all know what that did? That blew away their vain imaginations. The vain imaginations that blew away their vanity. Because why? Because the facade is over. This is why when I talk to you about neodiplomacy, neodiplomatic, all of these different things, why do you think that in their whole diplomacy core, why do you think that there's not that many black folks? Because they know that we would have blown the lid off of everything. They knew that. No, don't engage them like this. Matter of fact, don't engage them. Be a fly in the wall. If you were even able to be graced to understand those interactions, they would tell you be a fly on the wall, don't comment. And there was always some sort of underhanded, low key, snarky remark that was meant to denigrate black folks in those meetings. And now you're seeing they're saying the quiet part out loud. And now, as we have been saying this for years, okay, that's fine. You don't have to listen to us. But when the chickens come home to roost, it's going to start getting darn right ugly. And now it's getting ugly. And now, who is going to then support their cause? They're trying to look for black folks. Who's going to support? Who are we going to have as a bootlick? I was looking the other day on Deo Ministries Live. It was a post of a prominent black YouTuber, conservative black YouTuber that has the 3 first names. And because he had commented against the narrative and had used common sense, oh, they turned on him in a heartbeat regarding the Carmelo Anthony case. The judge is literally in hiding because she said that the $1 million bond was unconstitutional and she dropped it to 250,000. On top of that, the eyewitnesses and they have video footage. And then they said, well, the black female judge, she's unqualified, she's DEI, all of these different things. Do you understand what they're doing? I had always said this. I'd said this I said this earlier this week. White supremacy is going to die via natural selection. They're going to put their Darwinism into practice And that's how white supremacy is literally going to die. And all we're saying was, hey, listen, you needed to stop eating your own garbage, because you may try to feed us the garbage. We refused that a long time ago. But you're not going to be able to say, hey, we're going to just try to force feed the garbage to the world. That's not going to happen. And now the reality is, you now have a situation where now American citizens could potentially be sent to an El Salvadorian prison and you never come back. Because why? Because they're number one, they're running scared. And you have to understand, when you become fearful, you start to make mistakes. All right, can you all hear me? Sorry, family. My browser keeps going crazy. Oh boy. This is from the BBC. This is a this was the icon. This is the photo that I have in the thumbnail. But it says here, key immigration moments from Trump and Bukele meeting. President Nayib Bukele of El Salvador paid a visit to President Trump at the White House. The meeting comes after the Trump administration mistakenly deported a Maryland resident to El Salvador due to a quote unquote administrative error. President Bukele said that he could not release Kilmar Abrego Garcia from the country's mega prison. Mm. I wanted to also find the article because it was also purported that the shipment of Americans was also discussed, even being natural born. Do you know what that means? That means they literally suspended the Constitution. The constitutional crisis. That also means for us, yeah, potentially Dred Scott could be used against us. If they suspended the Constitution, then guess what? We are also in a pretty precarious situation. But I believe, though, that after September 11th, a lot of executive orders were placed that had not gone away. It just took a total of 20 some years to, get everybody to this point. to be able to be comfortable with this new direction of governance. And the new direction of governance has always been censorship. Like I had said, I know the cost that I bear when I get up here every morning and I open my mouth. It's easy to just be in cowardice and go to the background and shut my mouth. And you know what? Everything's fine. I just, as long as I got my paycheck's looking good, that's good. As long as my paycheck's looking right, as long as my six figures are looking right. Well, that's fine, but for how long? There are a lot of black folks that had their paychecks looking right. There are a lot of black folks that had their figures looking good. Exactly. And now with the 245% tariff, excuse me. How do you even explain a 245% tariff? You know what that's called? That's called going into poverty. That's called being impoverished. Because the reality is nobody's paychecks increased by 245%. Just think about this. If you're making $10,000 a month, simple math here, $10,000 a month. Or shoot, simple math here, $100,000 a year. You mean to tell me in 2 weeks that those people that were making $100,000 a year are now going to be expected to make it almost 250,000? Simple math. You went from clearing just around $8,600 a month to now you need to be coming in with at least 20 bands a month, a little over 20 bands a month. You see what I'm saying? Do we get the math here? The math is not mathing. This is now a financial tailspin. It just hasn't caught up yet. It's going to catch up in about 30 to 45 days. Because why? Because China wasn't playing. China wasn't backing down. China saw way too many sidekicks movies and Billy Blank's movies where there was a protagonist. They said, why don't we use our own financial martial arts? To survive the global kumite. uh, no, John Claude Van Damme. Lee Chung is winning it. We're rewriting every single storyline out here. Oh. Thank you, Lion Pride, for the gift. Hallelujah. And that's exactly what they did. They literally died on their racism. What was that? Excuse me. Voice still isn't all the way back, but I gotta go to my oldie but goodie because we're seeing prophecy in action. See, understand what's getting ready to happen. They're shooting bows, they're shooting arrows. It's not physical arrows just yet. These are financial arrows. This is a financial war, it's a trade war. Now, understand what you are getting ready to see. The vanity of Babylon has extinguished itself. That's literally what's happening. This is Jeremiah 50. Jeremiah 50. I'm going to start here. Verse 9, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. From thence she shall be taken. Can we say bricks? Bricks payment systems. All up. Yep. About 6 months after Kazan. Impeccable timing, correct? Impeccable timing. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return. See, people think that arrows are just in militaristic combat only. No, it is not. Arrows are in diplomatic, information, military, and economic. Those are your categories of warfare. That's why Xi Jinping is in Saudi Arabia, had gone to literally South Africa. When he left, what he is doing is he is now going on a world tour to shore up the diplomatic fight. Chocolate Knight, thank you for the gift. Will China back the debt the U.S. call back the debt the U.S. Owes? They're doing it right now. And as they're doing it right now, guess what they're doing? They're putting that in the BRICS pay. They're putting that into the region. It's called a regional economic cooperative. That's literally everything. I am kind of discouraged of writing my dissertation because everything in my dissertation is happening right now. All my chapter 3 is how I plan on doing my interviews. And the interviews, it's real time. See, understand they are calling back their debt. I'm not trying to play with you anymore. Try not to give any money to no racist. Oh, I'm not racist. I'm not, you know how they always have to say, oh, I'm not racist. I'm not racist. Look, you don't have to convince me. You don't have to convince me of anything. I'm not the one you need to convince. Because what do people do? They vote with their dollars. And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith Yahuwah. They're going to get their money back. Jeremiah 50:10, Most High says so, saith Yahuwah. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage. Destroyers of mine heritage. Yes, of the people. The Yahudim, the Israelites. Because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass and bellows as bulls. Man, that says a lot. That says a lot, especially when it comes to America's stature, literally in terms of physical girth. Just saying. Don't get mad at me. This is a word. Sorry, the word that the Christian nationalists don't like to read. This part of the Bible. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Do you not see that Europe has gotten mad about this place? Because of the wrath of Yahuwah, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. I'm going to tell you this. I believe that folks are going to start leaving this right after this school year is done. Folks are going to start leaving. They already were threatening to take student visas. So they go after the student visas. What do you think they're going after next? Put yourselves in array against Babylon, round about, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against Yahuwah. They're doing that diplomatically and now economically. And now the information is on out there. See, everything was fine and dandy when folks were loving the lie. Shout against her. Shout against her roundabout. What are they shouting? They're telling her the truth. They're telling the world the truth about this nation. She hath given her hand. She showed herself. She exposed herself. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of Yahuwah. Why? Because this place is being exposed for everything. It was a lie. Everything was a lie. How come they can ride around in $5,000 vehicles and vehicles here for luxury vehicles here, 130 to 140,000, but their luxury vehicles are about 5,000? There's a disconnect. the lies are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of Yahuwah. Take vengeance upon her as she had done. Do unto her. They're doing the same thing. But they're getting mad because they're getting beat at their own game. Ooh. Now they want to get mad all of a sudden. Wait a second. You showed this to the nations. You taught this to the nations. All they're doing is the same thing that you all had done. Cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. Is that not happening now? For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee every one to his own land. Why now do they have fear of the oppressing sword? Because we aren't trying to be in that people of color framework. Oh no, black folks aren't going on out to protest. Black folks are just minding their own business. Black folks are just trying to come together and get this thing together. Black folks are trying to be economically, financially resilient, diplomatically resilient to reach on out to our brothers and sisters on the continent, to actually come together and have a plan in place, because it's going to only get worse. Sorry, I'm not out here prophesying. Oh, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to already be here. Get your harvest, get your season. Hallelujah. It's going to be good. No. Prophesying. There's not going to be any bounce back. There's not going to be any strategic calls or anything else. You can't raise money when people do not buy into the dream. And the dream has literally become a nightmare. This is who we've been investing in. This is who we've been working with. They don't even like us. We've been saying that. Matter of fact, they hate us. Well, now y'all want to finally wake up. Don't look at us. That dream turned into a nightmare. I have this here before I go. Hopefully that can all fit in. So I am holding a Neodyiplomatic Corps 2025 cohort. This is the link here. I will also have this in the description. And I'll have it as a community post later on today. This is a time, family, that we have to step up as a people. These are serious times, and we need serious commitments. This is a 12-week class beginning May 4th. It'll run through July, mid-July timeframe. At the end of this class will have you prepared to engage in high-level talks that we will be engaging in through the political capital of the shipping container. The proceeds from this class goes towards the shipping container. It goes hand in hand. As the container is being moved, our people are being trained. And as that training is going, understand that when these doors are opening, we have to have serious people on deck ready to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent, ready to put in the work, ready to understand, and ready to maneuver within proper protocol. You can't engage willy-nilly. Because when that happens, then you have issues occurring. Again, this is for the serious-minded people that understand what that diplomatic effort does for our people at large. This isn't a Hebrew thing. It's not an Israelite thing. It's about an African diaspora engaging with our brothers and sisters on the continent in high-level engagements. To be able to come together and provide practical solutions for critical infrastructure and economic development in those engagements. That begins May 4th. On Sunday, April 20th, this Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Zoom. And here's the Zoom link. I will be doing an open house. You could join me on the open house if you have any questions. Why it's needed now, and what this will do in the future, and why this is needed for our people in these times of uncertainty. If you didn't know, we have an outlet. We have an outlet that the Most High literally gave us. I wish I could do it all myself. I can't. I wish I was in the position to fund everything myself. I can't. But we have to learn to trust one another, to build with one another, and to move accordingly so we could begin to open up doors for one another. So I will be teaching you the tools to do that, just as I had learned in my capacity in the military. I had to recall this a couple of yesterday. The Most High literally gave me over 15 years. 15 years that I have been doing this. The times where things were uncomfortable, the times where I didn't want to do what I was doing in the military, but it was not for me, it was for him. I was learning. I was learning these things at a high level. Being pushed in an elevator to meet President Obama. Engaging with dignitaries. Being called personally to meet a chief of defense, a minister of defense. Here I am. All I'm thinking is I'm just doing my job. Appreciate it. Thanks for, the call out. I appreciate it. It was nice to meet you, and I'd be on my way. But I truly did not understand the favor the Most I had as he was showing me how to do things diplomatically. Because all I knew was I'm just treating others as I expect them to be treated, or I expect to be treated. All I knew was I was just being a light to the nations. In my unawakened state, I would say I'm just being a light the way that Jesus called me to be a light. Because everybody has differences. Everybody comes with their set of struggles. But guess what? That doesn't mean that we cannot overcome them. That doesn't mean that we cannot reason together. I thought about this yesterday. It was last night. I was talking to Brother Garth and some other folks, and I said, Brother Garth, think about this. We were there with ADDI. And at that time, we had only had some limited interactions with ADDI. And they threw me up there as a co-chair in their infrastructure working group. Major projects infrastructure working group. And you want to know what they wanted built? They wanted built airports, high-speed rails. And you know what they provided? They provided us a budget. Let me tell you how this thing works. How they're using their voice to project power. Because they're calling things to be as though they are, even though they are not. As they're calling it on out. We will do this. We will have this. We will succeed this. Or we will do this. This will not just succeed, it will exceed. This airport project, 30 billion project, 25 billion. These major road projects, 50 billion. And first, I said to myself, man, that's kind of preposterous. But then I realized, I said, no, I'm thinking it's preposterous. They know that it can be done. They know what resiliency is. They know what being steadfast and dedicated is. They know, excuse me, how to move forward. And guess what? They know how to move in boldness and in power and decreeing and declaring. See, Neodyiplomacy is about being bold to understand the vision. See, the thing is, I looked at that and I realized that's the vision that the Most High gave on the people of Burkina Faso. And they're going to boldly carry out that vision. And they're going to boldly proclaim that vision. I look at that medical container, that's our boldness coming back to them. I look at that Neodyiplomatic core, that's the boldness coming back and say, hey, if you're going to be bold, I'm going to be bold with you, and let's get these projects done that you have the vision for. How many of our people are able to do that? And the question is, we do have the people. We have the people that can build the airports right now. We have the people that can build the roads right now. We have the people that can build the railroads right now. How many of our people have done that in construction? They're going after FAA. They're already telling you that they don't even know about their travel because of the strength of the dollar. So I don't want to put too much on up there, fam, but go ahead, get signed on up today. Again, in this first cohort, I'm only accepting 20 people. So spots are limited. I'm also planning for a high level media engagement here in the next few weeks. I'm planning for that. That Zoom meeting will be Sunday, April 20th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will make sure that that goes and gets placed in the community tab. And if you have any questions, email me at covenantawakenings@gmail.com. But yeah, family, I got to get going after this impassioned morning. Be careful on out there. Be safe on out there. And continue to give the Most High the praise through his son, Yahushua HaMashiach. Because while they're on the downhill trajectory, understand the Most High is literally lifting us up more than what we could even think or imagine. So with that said, family, most high willing, I will be back on tomorrow, and you all have a blessed rest of your day. With that, shalom, salama, siemi, shalom, peace and blessings. Yasharel.